Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with another revisit of a palette, an oldie but a goodie. Today I'm going to be showcasing an eye look featuring the Missy Lynn eyeshadow palette. Yes, please raise your hand if you remember this palette. If you picked it up, if you remember watching videos, if you just know Missy Lynn, period, thumbs up this video. I had to showcase this palette on a palette revisit because this was the very first palette I ever purchased. Number one, that shows you how late to the game I am with makeup, but I was just so excited about this palette. I love the fact that not only was it made with Melanin Skin Divas in mind, but I was also able to support Missy Lynn in the process of buying it. So I felt so good about myself because I was hashtag supporting a sister, and I was getting a palette that I felt like, even for my skill level at the time, was very easy and manageable. So I had to do this. I had to focus this one. So today we're going to be doing an eye look with this palette. So if you're interested, definitely pull out your palette or some similar colors and stay tuned till after the intro. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this purple, and I'm using a flat, it's like a fluffier shader brush, so it's not your flat shader brush, it's a little bit fluffier, and I'm using that, dipping into that purple, and I'm going to take that purple and I'm going to lay it on the outer V. Just taking my time and laying it down, placing it where I want it to be. Now, as you can see, I have a hooded eye, and so because of that, my crease stops really low down here, and if I were to just put this color where this crease is, you would only see it when my eyes are closed, which your eyes are actually closed more than you think they are, but they're not. But I want to be able to see this look, this color, even with my eyes open. So I'm actually following my orbital bone versus my crease when I'm placing my colors. I got that from a Sephora video. I think it was specifically for hooded eyes. It had the bald guy in it. I love him, but it was just, he was doing a makeup look on an Asian lady who had no crease at all, and he was just showing how to work with it, and I did take some really good tips from that, so that's why I do this. Now I'm going to go in with just a little bit more of that purple, place it in there, and just kind of build it up to where I want it to be. Build it up to the saturation I want, and I'm just kind of sweeping in, flicking in. It's a very pretty purple. Very, very, very pretty purple. Alright, so now that I have the purple where I want it to be, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a fluffier yet tapered brush, and I'm going to dip into the navy. And I'm just getting that color on the tip of this brush, and then I'm going to tap that navy on that inner corner, or that outer V, I'm sorry. And what I'm doing is I'm just adding definition to the look, so while I'm actually placing that navy in the same area as the purple, I'm not taking it quite as high. So I'm basically doing the same application, but I'm keeping it a little bit more concentrated on the eye. And I'm just kind of swirling back and forth, doing all types of different motions. And do you see how nice and deep that purple is, but you still got a nice gradient coming out here? And I am going to blend that purple out so we'll have an even more gradient effect, but I'm just taking care of these colors first because I've learned that having these colors placed really helps me figure out the rest of the eye. Alright. So I'm liking that saturation there. So now what I'm going to do with an even fluffier brush, still tapered, but even fluffier, and you could just use a regular blending brush if you wanted to here, but I'm going to take this brush, I'm going to dip into this terracotta shade. This is also a matte. I forgot to mention that. The purple has a little bit of sheen to it, and the navy does as well, but I would definitely call them more matte than any other finish. And I'm taking this matte terracotta and just grazing the edge of that purple, just grazing the edge I'm placing this color down. I'm using this color to do multiple things. I'm using it to blend out that purple. I'm using it to just add color to the all over brown bow area. Okay, so now I'm going in with a flat, actual flat shader brush, and I'm dipping into this, I would say this shimmery gold, and I'm going to place this in this blank space on the lid, and I'm placing and dragging, placing and dragging. And I'm just bringing that into the purple. Taking it above the crease, but not taking it too high on this inner portion. And just really putting it in there. I'm gonna go over here just because I know some creasing. I'm just gonna fix this. That's a bad thing about going above your crease, you know. But it's okay. That's so pretty. I'm gonna go over just a little bit more. Alright, so now that I have that placed, I'm going to go back in with the fluffy brush, not using the fluffiest brush, not using any additional product, and I'm just going to start buffing out the lines. I'm using a very light hand, again holding it at the very end of the brush, tipping it down, pushing it up, and really getting along those edges. Remember, I did not use any additional product. I'm just kind of using what's on the brush. I always forget this inner portion, you know what I mean? Like, I always seem to forget that. Alright. Okay. Looks good. I think I want to go back in a little bit with this. Okay, just kind of going back through and kind of blending in the blue and that purple with that gold. Just kind of blurring those lines just a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some concealer to kind of help clean up this edge, finish off the rest of my face, and I will come back and we can finish off this eye look. So I went ahead and finished off the rest of my face. I did go ahead and clean up with some concealer. I added some black liner and made a wing, as well as I did a tight line, and then I just added brown to the lower lash line because I didn't want it to be quite so intense. So now I'm going to finish off this look. I'm going to take a pencil brush and I'm going to take, let's see, the purple shadow and just run it along the lower lash line. In kind of a diffused area. Okay, let me just right, the navy just to the outer edge here. I'm just going to deepen it up here. Now what I'm going to do, just to add a little bit of depth closer to that lash line, is I'm going to go in with the deep chocolate brown that's in this palette, get it on the very tip of the brush, and I'm just concentrating that brown color right here at the wing and at the lower lash line. I'm going to use this brown color to give me that definition on the bottom without going in with the black. Keeping that right there at that lash line. Okay. Doing the same thing over here. How's that look, guys? That's looking really good. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to finish off this eye look by adding me some inner corner and some brow bone. So I'm going in with the lightest color in this palette, and I'm just popping that in the inner corner. Blending up and blending out. Okay. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to pop it over here, and I'm going to be very careful over here, just kind of tapping it, because this is a very white color even though it looks peachy in the pan. So I'm just wanting to get a little bit of pop of color here, but I don't want you to really pick up too much on the actual color of it. And I'm going to take okay guys, so this is the finished look. What are you guys thinking? I think we used a good amount of shadows in here. Oh, I forgot to use any of the little, you know what, we're going to go back in here because I forgot to use any of these bronzy colors, and I don't. Let's just take like one of these bronzy shades and we're just going to bring this down. We're just going to mix it in with this. How about that? There we go. Just to be using all the shades. I think I like that better than that white anyways. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now we've used a bunch of shades. So we were able to use several shades in this palette. I'm going to hold it up like this. Okay, so we were able to use several different shades in here. We were able to use all of these colors. I used this one to go over top this one in the inner corner. I didn't touch the brown bone. We did use this on the bottom lash line, and we did use this all over the lid. So we used every single shadow in here except for this one right here. You can get a little crazy with these two colors right here, but most of the looks that you pull out of this, unless you put this on the lid because these are pretty intense, most of the looks that you get out of this palette are going to be very easy, very everyday, very wearable to use. And honestly, it's a pretty easy palette to use, period, because again, there's no color in here that's going to take you too far to any type of spectrum. You're going to live in a nice everyday zone. You could definitely amp it up with these two colors right here, but for the most part you are going to live in a safe zone, which I'm okay with. I feel like this is honestly a great everyday eyeshadow palette for a melanin skin diva who's wanting to just keep it nice and simple, but be able to still turn out some different looks. Honestly guys, while it was definitely about showcasing what I already had in my collection and taking it back and experiencing what I was excited about back in the day, honestly, let's take it even further and say, if you don't have this palette, just pull out these similar colors. I'm sure you've got one of these somewhere in one of your palettes. I know you've got some type of purpley blue color somewhere in your palettes. I know you've got these palettes somewhere. These are some everyday shades right here, so I know you've got that somewhere. And I know you've got like a gold highlighter color somewhere. So if you don't have this palette, then just use what you have. Change up the colors or find similar colors to what you have. The whole point is to give you inspiration on one, going back in, pulling this palette back out and having some fun with her again, or being able to just take what you already have and make a similar easy look like this. So I hope this information helped anyone else out there. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up, and while you're here on my channel, take a look around, see what else your girl has to offer, and if you're liking what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.